This is from Kenji in Shizuoka, Japan. Some mornings I still wake up waiting for the footsteps. Even now, even here. I fold the same shirt every morning. Corners lined up just right, sleeves tucked in. The kettle screams behind me, but I don't move. You can leave a place, but sometimes it doesn't leave you. I grew up in a town where the wind made more noise. Rice paddies, wooden floors, shadows stretching across quiet rooms. I was the kind of child who noticed things. A loose floorboard, the way light moved through shoji paper. I didn't speak much, but I saw everything. When I was 15, someone said I had the stance of a fighter. They handed me gloves, and I stepped into the ring. Boxing wasn't rage, it was control, breath, timing. For once, being quiet was a strength. I didn't need words. My hands spoke for me. I lost a close match that I thought I'd win. Not badly, just enough to shake something loose inside me. After that, the rhythm was off. People said I didn't have the heart. Maybe they were right, so I stopped showing up. I found work in a miso factory. Punch in, clean, pack, punch out. Same lunch every day. White rice, pickled plum, a boiled egg. The air always smelled like salt and fermentation. Machines hummed. Footsteps echoed. No one spoke unless they had to. I liked that. Repetition is a kind of music when you don't want to feel anything. My younger sister, Yuki, didn't let me disappear into that silence. She'd come by after work with barley tea and talk until I laughed. She said I had an old man's soul. Maybe I did, but she kept me soft, even when the world wasn't. One morning, news spread, a house fire nearby, a coworker's family, wife, 2 children, gone. It was horrible, but I didn't know them well. Didn't think it had anything to do with me, until the police showed up at my door. At first, I thought I'd be home by dinner, but the questions kept circling. They told me I was lying, over and over. I lost track of time. At some point, I wasn't sure if the sun had risen or if they'd just left the lights on. They said I did it so many times that I started to wonder if they were right. Like maybe I'd forgotten something terrible. That's how tired I was. That's how they get you. They pushed a paper toward me. Said I could leave if I signed. So I did. I didn't read it. I just wanted it to stop. That signature. It didn't feel like mine. In court, I sat behind glass while strangers decided who I was. They called me dangerous, cold, calculated. The judge read the sentence like it was routine. Yuki cried. I didn't. I couldn't even feel my own hands. They led me to a small concrete room with a steel door and a single window too high to reach. No clock, no calendar. The light went on and off when they decided. I stopped counting after the first month. There was no point. She came every week, always with a soft voice and a paper bag of sweets. She never asked if I did it, not once. She'd just say, "You're still my brother. That's all I need to know." And somehow, that was enough. Did you know? Japan has one of the highest conviction rates in the world, over 99.9%. Suspects can be held for 23 days without formal charges or a lawyer. Even forced confessions are often accepted in court. So if someone tells you the system always finds the truth, ask them how many voices it never hears. I used to think the law was made to protect people like me. I don't believe that anymore. Also, executions in Japan are carried out in complete secrecy. Prisoners aren't told the date in advance. They simply wait. As of 2024, over 100 people remain on death row, and some have waited for decades. I was one of them. 45 years. No warning. No goodbye. Some people think not knowing is merciful. But silence. Silence is its own kind of cruelty. Anyway, to stay sane, I started folding tissues into birds. Wrote poems in my head. Talked to the same tiny ant that visited my cell every morning. I named it after my father. I think it was just so I could say someone's name out loud. I'd whisper little stories to it, about fields and sunlight and food I missed. You invent a life when yours has been stolen. It was either that or disappear. You never know when it's your turn. You just hear the footsteps, the click of keys, the silence after the door next to yours opens and doesn't close. And then it's not your day. But one day it will be. Each time Yuki visited, she looked older, more wrinkles, slower steps. But her smile, that never changed. She'd say, "Still fighting for you." And I'd nod like I believed her, even when I didn't. One year, I don't even remember which, a new lawyer came. He said, "We found problems with your case." I didn't react. After decades of silence, even hope sounds like a trick. They retested the blood on the clothes they used to convict me. It didn't match. Not mine, not even close. Yuki cried when she heard. I just sat there, still trying to feel something. The court finally ruled. The evidence wasn't reliable. They overturned my sentence. Said I was free to go. Free. After 45 years. I stepped outside and didn't recognize the sky. Yuki made miso soup the night I came home. Same way she used to. She watched me eat like I might break. I held the spoon like I didn't trust it. But the taste pulled something back from wherever I'd been hiding. Everything startled me. Doors closing, phones ringing, neon signs blinking. But the worst was keys. The sound of keys still makes my stomach twist. Once, a police car passed on the street, lights flashing, siren low, and I had to sit down right there on the sidewalk. My body still braced for punishment, even when there was none, even when I was free. A reporter asked me if I forgave them. Everyone who called me a monster, then walked away when they were wrong. They wanted a neat answer, something they could fit into a headline. I said I forgave myself, not because it made things better, but because it was the only thing I had any control over. That was the only forgiveness I knew how to give, and maybe the only one I needed. I visited a temple near our childhood home, lit incense, whispered names, the ones I didn't unalive but still carried with me. They lost their lives. I lost mine in a different way. Pain doesn't compete, it just lingers. Yuki gave me a notebook, said, "Write whatever comes." Some pages are full of memories, others are blank. Entire years I can't find. I write anyway, because forgetting doesn't mean it didn't happen. We walked through a park together. Didn't say much, didn't have to. She held my sleeve the way she used to when we were kids, and I realized she'd never stopped being my sister, even when I couldn't be her brother. One afternoon, a dragonfly landed on my hand. Its wings were paper thin, like a breath caught midair. It stayed longer than it should have. Then it left, and for some reason, I smiled. It reminded me of the rice fields from when I was little, the way they shimmered in summer. And for just a moment, I felt like that boy again, the one who liked silence, but hadn't yet learned to fear it. I sit on the porch most evenings. The sun sets in colors I forgot existed. I don't go far. The world still feels too loud, but I watch, and I breathe, and that's something. Yuki and I visited our parents' grave. She bowed. I knelt. I whispered something only they could hear, something I should have said decades ago. And maybe they forgave me, or maybe they already had. I don't know how to live free. Not really, but I'm trying. They called it justice. I call it surviving. And for now, that's enough. Thank you for listening to my story. I'm still learning how to live in the world again, and maybe I always will be. If anything in this spoke to you, or reminded you of something in your own life, I hope you'll share it in the comments. And subscribe if you would like to hear more stories like this.